You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, across the state, Billings ranks as the most dangerous city in Montana. We'll take a look at the numbers coming up. Plus, we'll show you why part of western Montana is seeing a rare breath of fresh air. But first, a Missoula man is behind bars tonight after he allegedly threatened to shoot and kill people at the Ravalli County Fair. Now, the suspect denies making those threats. However, local law enforcement arrested him for felony intimidation. MTN's Kent Lutzen reports.
Austin Jace Fugelberg is charged with felony intimidation after he threatened to endanger and kill people at the Ravalli County Fair. According to court documents, law enforcement spoke with Fugelberg on August 16th after he told his social worker, quote, "If you see me on the 10 o'clock news for shooting a bunch of people, I'm sorry." A few different people reported Fugelberg's threat, some of those being his coworkers here at the town pump in Lolo. He told them he was going to kill people until he was killed himself. Fugelberg said he was intoxicated when he made these comments. He then later admitted to having some mental health issues. He was sent to St. Patrick's Hospital to be treated for severe alcoholism. However, according to court documents, he never received a mental health evaluation. After consulting with Missoula County Sheriff's Office and with help from the Montana Highway Patrol, he was later arrested for felony intimidation. The Ravalli County jail roster shows Fugelberg being held on a $50,000 bond. In Ravalli County, Kent Lutzen, MTN News.
Thanks, Kent. An hour-long standoff in Clancy, Montana finally ended after authorities deployed gas into a home. 38-year-old Bruce Garay of Helena was taken into custody today. Law enforcement had been looking for Garay after a June incident in Lewis and Clark County. Authorities say he locked himself in the residence today, but eventually surrendered after the county SWAT team deployed gas. Garay is now in the Jefferson County Jail. 2 Montana men wrongly convicted in the 1994 murder of waitress Donna Marr outside Helena have filed federal lawsuits against former officials from 3 counties and the state. Fred Lawrence and Paul Jenkins were released from prison in 2018 after DNA evidence proved David Nelson had robbed and killed Marr. Among the defendants in that case, former Jefferson County Sheriff Tom Dawson and former Lewis and Clark County Sheriff Chuck O'Reilly, whose offices jointly conducted that investigation. Both men were facing re-election at the time, so attorneys for Lawrence and Jenkins argue that this placed political pressure on the sheriffs to make an arrest. In 1999, the uncle of David Nelson told Ravalli County deputies that his nephew had confessed, but authorities did not act for another 17 years when Nelson's uncle told the same story to Dillon police. Lawrence and Jenkins did not specify damages in their suit. As violent crimes increase across the state, tonight a new report ranks Billings Montana's least safe city. The report by backgroundchecks.org uses FBI statistics to examine the 6 most populated cities in Montana and finds the state as a whole ranks somewhere in the middle of the pack. Across the U.S., Montana law enforcement already on the fight to stop meth-related violence. Project Safe Neighborhoods and Yellowstone Substance Abuse Connect Coalition are programs already in the works aimed to prevent the demand for meth by increasing prevention and treatment. This as Billings continues to fight drug-related crimes such as stolen property and car thefts up to officer-involved shootings. Now take a look. The background checks .org survey ranks Kalispell and Bozeman tied for the state's safest city. Great Falls in 3rd place, followed by Missoula and Helena in 4th and 5th, and Billings, the state's largest city, scored as the most crime-ridden city in Montana. Now, the data surveyed 7,430 cities and filtered out the cities with a population less than 10,000. The violent crime rates were calculated by taking the crime rate by population and factoring in the number of law enforcement. The higher the number, the more safe the city supposedly is. Well, today in Pablo, Salish Kootenai leaders began a 3-day forum with the goal of teaching people what they can do to help combat the missing, murdered Indigenous people crisis. Officials say one of the biggest things you can do is work to keep people informed. They say to protect yourself, always be aware of your surroundings. Law enforcement in western Montana says the epidemic is having a major impact on the area.
Now you have to be cautious about everywhere you go, empty parking lot, getting into your car after the movies. And we really need to just bring the greater awareness to the whole community that it is something that could happen because people are vulnerable.
I guess it's important, and I always try to push on when I get a kind of a platform like this, I guess, is that just to make it real. It is here. These kind of people are here, and our younger youth who are out there running around are falling victim to these people, and it just, like I said, it is here.
Now, that conference will continue through Thursday with instruction and hands-on steps to combat this crisis. Well, there are just not enough school bus drivers in Bozeman, even leaving some middle school students without a ride last year. Now, the district partners with First Student to take students to and from school. Bozeman Schools has been forced to take drivers from across the state and even the country to meet those demands. They say a tight labor market and difficult hours may play a key role.
It's a split shift job, so those drivers are coming in, getting up really early in the morning, driving a couple hours in the morning route, and then expected to be back, mid afternoon to drive all the kids home. So it takes a pretty unique individual with a flexible schedule or the willingness to work around that, or really a true passion for kids and driving the buses.
The Bozeman School District is working with First Student to find creative ways to accommodate bus driver schedules. Now, one idea is to find additional work in schools to pair with bus driving. Well, students in Clancy, Montana get a few more days of summer break. Class will not start until Tuesday, September 3rd due to construction. The school's parking lot is being completely redone. Now, that includes a new storm drain system, asphalt, and curb and gutter. Clancy school officials say they wanted to give parents more than a day's warning. So construction crews say by the end of today, that parking lot will be completed, striped, and ready for business.
We got one thing that probably won't be complete is the fence. So we'll be completing the fence tomorrow. Midday it'll be complete. Paving will be complete today, and that is what's left.
Now, the construction team invites the community in that area to come check out the new parking lot. Well, dozens of people gathered on the Rocky Mountain front today to celebrate a major conservation and recreation project. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation marked the official public opening of the Falls Creek property north of Helena. Owner Dan Barrett sold the 442 acres to the Elk Foundation, which then transferred it to the Forest Service. Leaders say that ensures permanent public access for recreation.
Well, it's going to be there for everyone to use. I mean, people can go in there hunting. It gives access. I know a lot of people that really want to get up here.
It's one of those iconic things that I think the Elk Foundation was kind of created to do. It's conserving land, it's putting land into public ownership, and it's improving access to existing public lands.
Now, the purchase totaled more than $2.5 million. Lewis and Clark County provided $1.4 million from an open lands bond, and the Elk Foundation raised the rest from business organizations and private individuals. Well-timed rain combined with a lack of wildfires in western Montana has translated to consistently good air quality this summer. MTN's Russ Thomas fills us in.
Late August. The sun is out, the air is clear, a time to relax and breathe it all in. Seriously though, you should really breathe it in. This is not the norm.
This year's been glorious. We've had really great air quality all summer. People have had a chance to get outside and recreate outside and not have to worry about me sending them messages to hide inside and hug their air cleaner, which is, I think, probably great for everybody.
It's a wonder that Missoula City County Air Quality Specialist Sarah Cofield didn't develop carpal tunnel syndrome for all the detrimental pollutants reports she's typed over the last 2 years. In fact, outside of a relatively quiet 2016 smoke season, the last 10 years have produced at least a few poor air quality days. Now, we're just 2 years removed from a hazardous late summer.
2017 was really a landmark year. It was our worst year since we started collecting wildfire smoke data. Just catastrophically terrible year where people couldn't go outside and they need to stay inside and create cleaner indoor air spaces to try to protect their health. A lot of folks got really sick from the smoke that year.
Thankfully, the odds of seeing a series of elevated pollutants days are getting lower by the day as September nears. However, Cofield says there is a chance a general smoky haze may occur thanks to our neighbors to the west.
The national forests in Idaho are about to start their late summer, early fall prescribed burning program, and they do tend to ignite substantial acreage. So there is a chance we'll see some smoke coming our way from those prescribed fires.
Cofield adds that with a stretch of very warm and dry days on the way, we're not completely out of the woods. But clear, cool nights like last night will help keep moisture in the fuels and bring humidities up, which is just what we need as we head into the last 4 weeks of summer. In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Thanks, Russ. Now, Labor Day weekend gives folks a chance to squeeze in that last-minute vacation before the seasons begin to change. But if your vacation plans involve air travel, you may be in for a surprise. Now, despite being grounded, your upcoming airline ticket may have the Boeing 737 MAX listed. If you are scheduled to fly on a 737 MAX, airlines such as Southwest have policies and procedures listed on their websites. Ultimately, flying in and out of Montana shouldn't present a problem, but airport officials do recommend you stay informed and review upcoming flights. Well, when you think of wine country, Montana probably isn't the first place that comes to mind. But if one grape grower near Polson has his way, folks can enjoy more wine made right here in the Treasure State. Now, right now, most of Montana's 17 wineries use fruit from other states. Now, that's because Montana only grows about 60 acres of grapes. But Larry Robertson says developing certain types of cold, hardy grapes, like the Marquette variety, could be vital to Treasure State tourism.
For years, I just known that these grapes are going to do well here. We just have to put the work in and manage them properly for our climate, our short season.
Still to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news, we'll show you why submarines are examining the bottom of Flathead Lake. But first, Bob, how's our weather looking?
It was an upper-level trough that kept things a little on the cool side today for eastern Montana, but now a new ridge of high pressure starts building in from the west tomorrow. We'll start cooking up all over the state. We'll have more after the break.